So welcome back to Netflix Football. It's been quite a while. Yes, I'm truly sorry for that. I had been caught up between some professional chores. If you've followed me on my socials, you know what I've been up to. So I'll keep it that till there. You know what I've been busy with. And honestly, doing videos and Manchester United not performing very well. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was sacked, and you all guys knew how much I adored Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. But I think that it needed sacking, and Ralph Ragnick has come in, and I don't know what he is doing, and I don't know, I doubt the players do have any clue as well. But tonight I've partnered up, and I've already shared the details on my social, a few hints here and there. So I'm going to talk in absolute detail, so what we are going through, what I've planned, and I'm so excited, and I'm heavenly. It is heavenly, this opportunity that I've been given. Credit to Ritik Da, shout out to him for actually helping me meet with these people and partnering up. So the app is known as Fanyon. You'll find it out on Play Store. And we have got two very good people to talk about that. So let's bring them on screen right now in 3, 2, and 1. So Nazif and David are on Netflix Football for the first time. Introducing David, the CEO of Fannian, and Nazif, a very humble brother of mine, works there, and he has been the contact point of one. I'll start with Nazif himself. Nazif, how's it been? He's a fellow Bengali, but from the other side of the border, but we are still brothers. Nazif, how's it been?
Yeah, it's been good, and being a City supporter has been great. We've been, you know, it's business as usual for us, being in the top of the league, being above United, more specifically, and watching the carnage from the top. It's been a great view so far.
David, I'm told you're a
And
PSG supporter.
Yes, exactly. Since day one.
So Messi,
I've been,
Neymar,
yeah,
Mbappe, Champions League.
yes, but supporting the club in the very early years of the of my life, and yes, we currently have a great team, and it's always a pleasure to watch a PSG game.
Mhm.
Except this season, the scores are good, but the gameplay is not that great, and there's a lot of criticism in the team. But as they say with these teams like that, you just have to be good for Champions League and the end of the season. So let's hope that the team will be better, and I'm sure that we'll have a very nice game against Real Madrid.
Absolutely, we are waiting for that mouth-watering Champions League. But before that, talking about Fanyan a bit, it is a very good prospect. I'll go straight to David over here. David, what you were the brainchild of this, and how amazing are people who are yet to sign up? Are in for, how much are they in for a ride over here? Just tell us the deets.
Now, the only thing that I can tell you right now is that the reason why we created Fanyon is that we are fantasy football fans. We've been playing all the fantasy games out there, and we felt like there was one fantasy that was missing. The one that everybody is dreaming about is the kind of super fantasy stuff. We are all supporters of incredible players, and the fantasy games out there were only focused on the league-centered fantasy, like the Premier League game, the French league, the Spanish league, the Italian calcio. And we said, but we are all fan of the big clubs, of the big players. I love Benzema, I love Vinicius, I love Ronaldo, I love Gundogan. So what if we could create like a digital version of the Super League through a fantasy game? And this is what we did, and it's absolutely amazing to follow like the best players in the world every game week.
Absolutely. So all of you guys that have been tuning in mostly know about me doing FPL podcasts, but Fanyan is bringing all the best leagues in the world, all the best clubs in the world onto a table and onto a fantasy where probably this might sound spooky when I say this. An Ilkay Gundogan on an average match day can outscore a Cristiano Ronaldo. Nazif, how does that happen?
well, the way Cristiano Ronaldo is playing at the moment, he would outscore Cristiano Ronaldo on most days. On a weekend basis. But the thing is, the scoring system here is quite different than what we have with FPL or traditional fantasy football stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So at Fannian, you get the matrix we hold very important are the key passes, are the duels,
Mm-hmm.
are the accurate passes. So those metrics aren't just available in other fantasy football games, especially at FPL. So what happens is players like N'Golo Kante, players like Jorginho, when he's not taking the penalties,
Mm-hmm.
get overlooked. Even you're getting a great amount. One of our top players at Fannian,
Mm-hmm.
he's Jude Bellingham. He scores 200. I mean, the scoring system is quite different over here. You get 15 points for every duels you win.
Mm-hmm.
So your midfielder or DM wins 3 or 4 duels. You get 60 points over there. 4 duels, you get 60 points, 15 points for each duel. So at most weekends or most game weeks, a player like Jude Bellingham ends up with 200 points on an average. That is a very good point total for a player on an average at the Fannian game weeks. So, you know, this the game allows you to have more options, especially in the midfield position.
Mm-hmm.
So a position that for mid CMs and DMs,
Mm-hmm.
even for attacking midfielders who are not scoring that much, gets overlooked at other fantasy games like FPL or even UEFA fantasy football.
Right.
So that is
We,
one of the things that we wanted to, bring in for our managers.
I was
Absolutely.
saying we don't have to cheat to put Salah as a midfielder, to have good points in the
Yeah, yeah.
midfield section. You had so many good midfielders in the game, as you said,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just that we felt like football is not just about clean sheets and goals.
Mm-hmm.
It's also about everything that you do in the game. It's a team play, and we wanted to reflect that reality of all the statistics into one single scoring system that is quite representative, because of course you will still see the best players
Mm-hmm.
scoring very high. So, and as you can guess, like Robert Lewandowski is currently the best player in the game, uh, and it's absolutely like obvious that this is fair, that to see that Robert Lewandowski is ranked number one.
Absolutely. As we guys are talking about, you can see on the right hand side of your screens, I have built in how Casemiro's point breakdown happened. This is pre-El Clasic, of course. 37 points for accurate passes, 1 point per pass, duels lost, duels won. So what basically is that if you are a manager, and I know a lot of my subscribers are wannabe managers, some with even degrees from out there. I even hold one, a bit of bragging here and there. But then again, like I've always wondered, in FPL, you just select fullbacks, very less centre backs, unless it's a Virgil van Dijk, not Harry Maguire, who'll miss every set piece if possible. But then again, people, this is something magnanimous. I'll show you a few more screenshots like this one. As you can see on the right, Erling Haaland, Kylian Mbappe up top. Yes, you can have them both. It wouldn't have been possible on FPL. I have many Real Madrid, Barcelona supporters who just don't play fantasy football because it's not available. Nazif, I'll go straight to you on this. Nazif, how much of this is broadening the horizon for fantasy football, considering the fact that just FPL is just limited to the Premier League and people from all over the world just don't get enough interest on the Premier League as it is. We lose interest as it is. So Nazif, how does that pitch in?
Yeah, yeah. You know how huge teams like Barcelona and Real Madrid are in the subcontinent. I don't need to talk about that. People already
Mm-hmm.
know about the biggest fan base. One of the biggest fan base are from the Asian region,
Mm-hmm.
or Southeast Asia region for the Spanish giants,
Mm-hmm.
even for Bayern Munchen. So these teams are huge over here, and the some of the La Liga supporters or the Bundesliga supporters are forced to play. We are forced to play fantasy Premier League because it is the most popular league out there. But they want their players. They want to have their players feature in their fantasy league. When we use the word fantasy football, you know, and we are limited to just the Premier League, that is not fantasy football.
Right.
For a fantasy team, for your fantasy team, you would what would be your ultimate fantasy team? You would have Cristiano Ronaldo on the left,
Mm-hmm.
Lionel Messi on the right,
Mm-hmm.
and someone like Lewandowski or Karim Benzema spearheading the team. That is the picture of an ultimate fantasy team, and we are providing that opportunity for our fantasy managers. It is
Mm-hmm.
broad, as you said, it is broadening the horizon, and we have put together the most popular the most popular teams, 27 most popular teams from the top 5 leagues. And you might ask why only 20. We are going with the most popular teams because you know, if we had all the teams, that is the 20 teams from the 5 different leagues that accounts for 100 teams or 100 clubs, then I guess yeah, you'd be ripping your hair off to pick which players to pick from those 100 clubs, you know.
Right.
So we have gone with the most of our popular 27 teams, and you
Mhm.
might say that you know, exclude some of the Premier League teams. We have only six of the most popular
Right.
clubs from the Premier League.
Right.
So you might ask, uh, you know, people might have questions like, yeah, then we'd be missing out points, players like Antonio from West Ham's,
Mhm.
and we'd be missing out a huge portion of points. Well, you got Patrick Schick from Leverkusen. We're
Absolutely.
covering up for that, and you were even getting more points with Schick, right? Because we all know how Bundesliga teams are. They will just roll over for Schick to score the goals week in and week out.
Absolutely. Comments are pouring in. Sabiraji said, sounds promising. Sheila, this is very interesting, Neil. Sheila, let me assure you, we have not come up to the interesting part yet. One thing, David, when I was having this conversation offline, we talked about that there needs to be a social media where you can discuss football and just football. Now, for FPL lovers, you see, you have to hop on Twitter, you have to hop on Reddit, you have to hop on Facebook or to my streams to just discuss what players you'll be pitching in, what stats you might be seeing. There are a lot of opinions here and there, but this app Fanyon comes with a dedicated social media itself, and that is
Yes.
one of the most promising things, that you can have a chat with your private members and with the global members as well. David, without much further ado, David, how much of this is a game changer for future fantasy fanatics?
For all the players, it's a game changer. We have one mission, is to make fantasy football more social. That was, you know, the starting point when we created Fannian, because you know, you have so many players that spend hours to compose their team. You know, they discuss everywhere to have the latest tips. You know, to compose the team for the next game week, and it's just that you have to go on Twitter, then you have to go on Reddit, then you have to have sometimes some group chats on WhatsApp. Then you have to pay sometimes some experts on some groups, you know, on Slack or whatever, or Discord, just to get all this feedback. Wow, it's a mess. And we said, okay, why don't we just create one platform where we can discuss this all over, and it worked, and it's working, and we're very happy about that. And the best part are the private leagues, because same, we felt like, you know, when you just create a private league but you cannot engage with the people inside the league, it's a bit frustrating. You know, you go on FPL, you create a league, then you have to go to invite all the people that sometimes you don't know the guy. You have to get the chat on the side, so it's not very well connected. And we said, okay, let's create a league chat where you can engage with your friend, you can have a chit chat, you can follow the scores, which is really good, because when, for instance, a player in your league has a player that scored a goal, then all the players, you know, they know about this, so they can interact and they can have fun. You know, fantasy is all about fun.
And just not just limited to the Premier League, of course. Now that was an interesting part. We'll talk about the rules a bit later. Yeah, we are keeping the best parts for later right now. But then again, this app, of course, you've got to download it first. It's there, linked in the description, and you have my special code, and you'll be getting a few goodies. I'll announce them on tomorrow's video, because the game week starts at post 1 a.m. Indian Standard Time. So do download your apps right now, linked in the description, and join Netflix Football Private Fantasy League on Fannian right now. You'll be up for some goodies. We'll talk about the goodies a bit later, but okay, let's have a hint of the rules first. Nazif, I'll go with you on this one. Now, suppose what I've faced is I've bought Ronaldo, and now I just cannot exclude him from my FPL team because he's an asset. He might just score, and if I let him go and then I pick someone else and just alter the team, it's very difficult until you take a 4-point hit to actually bring Ronaldo back when he's in the purple patch. We all know he's going to be there, even if you're an Man City fan. The scarf speaks for itself. But at Fannian, there's something different, isn't it, Nazif? Nazif,
Yeah.
do tell us.
Yeah. So the thing with Fannian is, it's like every game week is a wild card game week. So after every game week, you get the chance to reshuffle your whole team from top to bottom. You get your budget reinstated. So you started with 100 million. For the next game week, you get 100 million again, and you get to structure your team from the scratch. So when you're talking about that problem with Ronaldo, that if Ronaldo is going through a rough patch, a dry patch, so to say, and his prices go down, and for that same price, you cannot you cannot take him out and get in your team a Salah or a Salah or another striker, so to say, or a hurricane. But with Fannian, what we're doing is it's as I said, it's like wild card every game week. So you get you get the chance to restructure your team from the scratch every game week. The game week ends, and you get to rebuild a new team for the next game week. So what happens is, and that is the same for everybody, right? So you might think that it makes the game very easy, but that's the thing. It's the same for everyone, every manager out there.
I'd
What happens is,
I'd say it make the game more interesting, because
yeah.
go on.
Yeah. No. I thought I was interrupting you. So, yeah, obviously it makes the game more interesting, and also it gives you a chance. It gives you more of a chance to, as I told you, the problem with Cristiano Ronaldo, he goes on a rough patch or a dry patch for a couple of game weeks, and then if you take him out, his price goes down. You cannot bring somebody in for the same price. So we are taking care of that problem first of all, and we are giving you an opportunity to have to let go of your imaginations or what and try more with your team, right? And think more about your fantasy team. If it's a fantasy sport, we are giving that equal chance to everybody to come up with a better team than you had in the previous week.
Absolutely. So most people
more brain cells.
Most people on this channel are like fantasy managers or managers themselves. Like myself, I want to scout new players. I want to keep an eye on everything. And what Fanyon brings is that it has all, so you don't need to go on to SofaScore, OneFootball anymore. So you can get all the stats live in game at Fanyon. David, how much, if you'd ask me, if you were a professional scout, how much of this is, even if you're scrolling through a fantasy app, you can get all the stats in one go and the selected players you want to watch. So you just don't need to have to shuffle over there time and again. So David, how much of this excites you, of this prospect of everything under one roof?
I think the stats are something a lot of players they love. They love to get the information, to know about the season statistics, to compare with other players. So it gives ground, But I think in our game, the most important thing, of course, just as with FPL, you're gonna check first the fixtures. This is usually the standard process. First you analyze the upcoming fixtures for the game week, and you're going to try to identify, supposedly easy games for strikers, but also tough games for defenders. What is really good is that a defender, that is you take on FPL, Liverpool playing I don't want to name, but let's say a team that is ranked in the down part of the league. I don't want to offend any any fan of any club. So, but let's say that.
But thank you for not saying Manchester United.
We all know what happened when they faced.
Come on, lowest moment of 2021. Yeah, go on, David.
Yeah.
So that the defender will have a good score because the team did not concede a goal. But the thing is, honestly, most of the time the defender will have nothing to do on this game. They have no tackles. They have no dual ones. Because usually the midfielders are handling everything with the strikers. They control the game. So, and the opposing team is defending and playing very, very, very low at the back. So that's why if you pick a defender in our game that is playing against a strong team, he will have more chances, to have good stats and solid stats, and that will be rewarded, not just because of the clean sheet. So stats are important, but I would say the most important is to analyze the fixtures first, so you can pick the best players. And with the rules, there is also one um, strategy that is very nice, is that you're not forced to spend the full budget. You have 100 million, but if you save money, you start the game week with points. So you can also make a decision sometimes not to go with the best player, but just you go with the underdogs or someone that you feel like could score very well, and that will not cost you the biggest price, so that you've saved money and you have extra points. So there is a lot of strategy involved, and we want to. This is also just the beginning. This is our first season, and we want to improve that, to improve the gamification process, so that the players that you use most in the game will earn experience points, so that you have boosters based on the players that you have selected for a long time during the season. It's kind of a loyalty bonus.
Right. So that is a game changer in itself, having boosters. I was just wanting to talk about boosters because suppose you have a Lewandowski in your team and you get a booster pack, because we'll do pack openings on Fannian as well in this channel, so stay tuned for that. Suppose you get Lewandowski as a loyalty bonus as a booster pack, so whatever Lewandowski scores or points, they get doubled based on the stars. If I'm not wrong, do correct me, David or Nasif. Yeah, go on.
You have the important point is that of course you have the question of competitiveness when you introduce a booster. And we don't want you have to find an arbitrage, the good trade-off between rewarding the players that stay longer on the app compared to the new players. And so we have decided to reward the players who play the most on the game with the gems that they can earn based on the performance. And with those gems, they can get booster packs. It's random. So you will not get necessarily a Lewandowski, and it's going to be quite tough to get one of Lewandowski. But the boosters level will be very limited, so that the competition remains fair. It's not about giving 100 or 500% bonus. It's more like 10 to 20%, 40, 50% maximum cap. We are currently, calibrating that. And there will be a system of divisions. So the stronger your team is, the higher the division you will be in, so that, you can play with players with more or less the same level. So we still have a fair competition, and we reward the player who engage the most.
Absolutely, absolutely. And talking about engagement, like I have lost engagement on FPL right after Manchester United starts going into the usual form, for a lack of a better word. But over here, suppose you cannot or you could not join on game week 1. Yeah. But Nazif, I'll go to you on this one. What are the benefits that Fanyon gives us over FPL on joining midway? Do tell us this interesting part.
Okay, so that is for me one of the best part about Fanyon. That is for most part of FPL, if you miss out on the first game week or first game weeks, you might not as well play the game. You cannot, even in the private league, most of the time people will create the private league right at the beginning of the tournament, of the of the fantasy premier league, and they start with game week 1. And if you join or miss a game week, then you might not as well play the game, because you cannot you just cannot catch up to the other players. For Fanyon, that is something we want to solve. That is something we want to bring in for our fantasy football managers. So when the most important thing about Fanyon is you can play or start the game from any juncture of this season, be it the mid-season, be it towards the end of the season, or the beginning of the season. That is, we want to create something like a custom a tournament campaign, where you can select the game week length, or the number of participants who wants to participate. So you have your weekends with your friends, and we want to make we want to make a Fanny a game like you can have enjoy with your friends.
Right.
You have your food, you have your friends, and you enjoy the game week, the Sunday game weeks or the Saturday game weeks, and you have Fannian. You enjoy the time with your friends and Fannian. So from Netflix and chill, we want to go from Fannian and chill. So that is the idea, and how I'm coming to it. How we got to that idea, because you create a private league in Fannian,
Mhm.
and you customize you customize the number of game weeks you want to have that in your custom campaign,
Mhm.
and then you just invite your friends. So it doesn't matter from which part of the season you're starting the campaign, or you're starting your custom tournament. You can just start, you can just create a tournament with your friends and enjoy your time,
And
your weekend with
absolutely,
your friends.
like for example, there are many good fixtures that are coming up. You select that period where you say, let's
Especially,
test our managerial prowess, and for these 3 or 4 game weeks, let's have a mini
yeah,
competition,
absolutely,
and whoever
yeah,
wins stands out as the best manager. That's the best part, because in FPL you have to wait the entirety of the till the last game week wherever you join in. You just cannot cut off midway. So we have many competitions in that. It's
yeah.
absolutely a game changer for me and for you, of course.
Especially, yeah, especially the end of the season. Sorry, end of the year.
Mhm.
Especially the holiday periods, the Christmas period and the New Year period. We got like tons of game weeks,
Right.
tons and tons of game weeks, Boxing Day game weeks, and everything. And people are enjoying with this time with the holidays with their family and with their friends, and they have the days off. So that is the best time to have a private competition between your friends and your family, whatever.
Absolutely. Okay,
So
okay. I've got a quick question. It's for David. This one. So he's Arnab, thanks for joining in. He says, "How will virtual reality affect fantasy football in the coming years?" It's a bit odd one, but something to think about, David.
Right now, no, but I would say I would be more curious about a question related to maybe what's happening right now with the NFTs, the blockchain,
Mhm.
eventually the metaverse. I don't know if this is what the fan wants to hear about,
Mhm.
but virtual reality. I'm not so sure right now. I have heard something related to virtual reality and fantasy. We've been checking the market up there,
Mhm.
and this is not something that I have seen, because you don't really need it at the moment, to play fantasy, because it's about picking the players.
Mhm.
Um, so I wouldn't see what are the benefits of virtual reality. Uh, yes, right now.
Absolutely. So definitely it is a prospect that these guys are definitely looking into. The concept that they have brought in, challenging on a heavyweight in the market for so long, since around 2004 2005, in my almost my half toddler years, it gives some metal, definitely gives some metal. And all those people from AC Milan are involved in there. I'll not go into the details for lack of disclosure, or lack of closure, in my humble opinion. But this definitely seems to be something very worthy of giving it a try. You can download it right now from the link in the description. Of course, do join my private league. You all get the chance to win another jersey of your choice. One I'm giving away for FPL, one you can win courtesy of Fanyon topping the group. So join in right now. The game week starts tomorrow. I'll do a video same time around 9:30 p.m. highlighting what team I'm going with. All right, before we actually scamper off, talking about the rules, I'll go to David on this one. This part is very interesting, and I willfully saved it till last. Is about the substitutes. Now, in FPL,
Yeah.
whenever the substitutes are locked, you just cannot change them. You just have to gamble, like, yeah, this player will play, this player will not turn out injured before the match and cost me the game weeks. But there's something different happening in Fannian. David, would you like to go through with this?
Yes, that's a very good point. Thank you, Samad. I really love this question. Yes, the fact is, especially during COVID time, it's very difficult to make fantasy predictions, because you never know who's going to catch the COVID, will not be available for the game. And that makes it very hard to have a strong lineup. So we have a system that is quite cool. You have like 4 players in your bench,
Mm-hmm.
and you can replace them anytime. You have full control of that. So let's say that you're not happy about the performance of a midfielder. You can replace this midfielder by even a striker or a midfielder or even a defender, not a goalkeeper. You can't get two goalkeepers except if you're Manchester United. But
Everybody is pulling Manchester United right now. We are at that state,
no,
folks.
I'm just in the same team as Nazif, so I show him some support, you know. But
No.
I say that, but I really love United, you know, and
The only team that needs support is Man United at the moment. Moral support.
there are some teams as well that needs
Yeah.
support.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's very
Well,
cool to have that with the substitutions, and we have so many players doing a substitution during live game week. And we'll dive in details for the next show to explain about the best strategy about the substitution, because you have given that information. Usually, you have to put like in your bench, not the best, not the. You have to put in the bench the players who have their game at last.
Right.
And this is super important because that gives you a chance to
Put forward that final gamble.
Exactly, to say, okay, at least I know that this player is playing first. First, I see his performance, and if it is not good enough, I'm going to replace him with someone else. So that becomes even more strategic.
Absolutely.
So what David is trying to say here is like it is another very important and very intriguing aspect of Fannian, that we let you sub in your players even after the game week has started. What happens with FPL generally is that once the game week has started, you cannot change your team. I think right after the team sheets get announced, that is 1 hour before the game week starts, you cannot change your team, right?
Right, locked
that is
in.
what happens with FPL. Locked in. So what we have done is you can change your team before the game starts, the game week starts, anytime before the game week starts, or the
game, not the game week, the game.
The game.
Yeah,
the game, not the game week.
The first game.
So right before kickoff,
the first game is the right before the kickoff. You can change your team anytime you want.
So it's a bit tactical in the sense. Sorry for cutting you off, Nazif.
Yeah.
In that it's like a real match. Suppose you are not happy with your players and you want to gamble with a substitute if you can get in more points. So that blew literally.
One other thing,
my mind off. Yeah, Nazif.
Another thing is like one other thing is that you know, as David, I just want to touch up a little bit on what David said about the pandemic. You know, it's really hard for fantasy managers to predict the team. You know, so we have given them that that space and leverage to see the team sheets, and then maybe reshuffle, or even even leave out some players off of their team and get in some new players before the first match starts. And we have given them the space to put in their subs in before their match starts. So even after the game week has started, the matches has started. If you have a player like Theo Hernandez in your bench, and AC Milan is yet to play their game, before AC Milan's game starts, you can sub in Theo Hernandez anytime you want.
So suppose to make that simpler for all the viewers over here. Suppose I have a Luke Shaw in my team. So as the United are performing, he does not perform very well. Much more of an So suppose you have a Theo Hernandez who got an inform in all of the foot fans over here. So he scored 2 goals last week. So if you're sure that Theo Hernandez has a game probably against the likes of Cagliari or Bologna, he's bombing forward, scoring goals, putting in crosses. So you sub in Theo Hernandez just before AC Milan's match starts, even though Manchester United's and Luke Shaw's matches finish. How interesting is that? On the comment section, love react from Srijan. Thank you so much. Nightcrawler says, why change forever? I think he says by the means of the title, says fantasy football is going to be changed forever. I'll go to David on this. With all that we've talked about, there is still one game-changing fact, is that we've not discussed much and will not discuss much. Let's just give you a hint about all the packs that are going to be unfolded. David, a few words about the pack openings or the booster packs that we can redeem from GM's avatars or something like that. Do give us a nice look into that.
Okay, so the packs are a feature. It's a feature that is coming very soon. We're still working on it. It's going to come like very soon, by the end of January. So basically, we reward the best managers that did the best during a single game week with gems. And with these gems, they can get packs. We have created 3 kind of packs: the common packs, the rare pack, and the super rare pack. In the super rare pack, you get a chance to get like players with a higher booster and top tier player. So that's the full process. You can get them in a common pack, but the odds are smaller, of course. So, and you have, when you open a pack, you get a booster. So that means that this booster will work till the end of the season. It's kind of having a booster card of a player. Let's say that you open the pack and you had AYAN booster level 2, which gives you 20% increase on the performance. It means that during the end of the season, whenever you pick your team, if you have AYAN in your team, you will get 20% bonus on his performance. So that is really, really, really cool. And you're super excited, you know, before opening a pack. Maybe we'll go here, we'll open some packs together to get some very nice reaction.
Absolutely.
To see some pack opening and getting Ronaldo or Bruno Fernandes. No, that is really cool, engaging, and I think that everybody loves to get at least some gamification in fantasy.
Absolutely. This is, after all, free to play. You don't have to pay your way to win, unlike some other, I don't want to name the peeps, but this is absolutely free to play with destined rewards. And more often, like how much people I have interacted with from various leagues, they just don't want to play the Fantasy Premier League. But just other than UEFA Champions League, there's no fantasy game at the moment that's capturing the market. Fannion, with close to 4,000 players and growing by the day, still early access. You just get the app from the link over there. Still early access right now, but performing so well. I'm glad to have partnered up with them. David has been amazing explaining all this. It's so much in such just an app. I don't need to go to SofaScore analyzing my matches, doing all the podcasts that I do. I just need to hop on Fanyon and see what players did what. So I'll highlight them on my team and voila. I just it's
and voila.
and it's so much easy. Nazif, thank you so much for giving me this opportunity, for highlighting you folks. David, thanks for signing me on. And this is going to be a partnership. And I think with all our efforts, this is the future. As absolutely it is titled, you guys are meeting the future over here. David, Nazif, thank you so much. Any parting words?
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you very much, Samrat. What important point is that the players can join. We have created a special private league, and it would be very, very nice for the players who watch this video to join with the code that is shared. They can join the private league so we can have all the fun together. And this is what we want, you know. We want to create the best fantasy game out there. It's very good because you also play twice. You have the league game and you have the UEFA games as well. So it's 2 fantasies per game week, per week. So you have more engagement. It's fun. And I can guarantee that if you create this league with your friends or you join us, you're going to have a very, very nice time. It's all about that. Having some nice time with friends, talking about sports, game, and our passion.
Absolutely. Being all the managers that we are, definitely this is not just fantasy. You don't just have fun. You learn about the players as well. It's absolutely a game changer in my perspective. Having, as Nazif would laugh, having an Ilkay Gundogan outscoring Cristiano Ronaldo with respect to points. And that joke is old. Not as old as Old Trafford. But not as empty as Etihad, anyways.
as old as Ronaldo.
The scarf says something else. Okay, David, Nazif, thank you so much for tuning in. We'll do another session tomorrow where I'll build my team, sharing my screen so that you all have a better glimpse. Do join in the private leagues. Do download it right now. The links are in the description. You all can pitch in through the comments, can pitch in through my inboxes. Pitch in our WhatsApp group, which I have for you guys. I'll be spamming all of you with Fanyon for the next few days because I want to be a part of the future. Thank you guys for joining in. This was absolutely fun. Yeah, David.
Thank you, Samrat, for having us.
Yes,
thank you very much.
Absolutely.
It was a pleasure, and let's enjoy some fantasy.
Absolutely, we'll be having you a lot more. We'll be having these 2 guys a lot more on the show, apart from you as well, with your expert opinions. Thank you, David. Thank you, Nazif. It was absolutely fantastic. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Have a good day.
Bye.
Have a good one.
So that was Nazif and David, the CEO of Fannian, that I've partnered up with recently. And this is an opportunity, guys, to bring in the future to your footsteps. Because not just football isn't just about goals and assists. It's about duels won, passes completed, key passes, long balls forward, passes lost on. You need to be acquainted with everything. You just cannot call yourself a football expert by just playing Fantasy Premier League. Just need to join Fanyon and then show your managerial skills. If you have what it takes to beat me on my own private league, you'll have the chance to win a special jersey courtesy of Fanyon. So do join in right now. We're holding private league competitions and much more future news that David has probably told me not to give you guys right now. But I'll leave in a few here and there on the socials over there. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. It's been actually a long time since we have tried to communicate, considering the fact that I've been away for a long time, and trust me, COVID is tough. It will be hopefully better by the time things, I don't know when it will be better, very honestly, but then still sports goes on, life goes on, football is a part of our lives as well. So do keep supporting the stream, do keep supporting the channel. If you want to donate, you can do so on the numbers below. But till then, stay safe, stay at home, and we'll see you tomorrow, 9:30 p.m. sharp. Bye bye for now.